Are you thinking about buying an aluminum pergola? Well, I'm Brendan with the Luxury Pergola, and I've got 5 things you need to consider before you make that purchase. Let's get started. Number 1, product weight and aluminum thickness. So we're talking about aluminum, so the main thing that is going to impact how strong that particular structure is going to be the wall thickness. Now, there are some differences in alloys on how much they bend or don't, but the main contributing factor is going to be thickness. So whether you buy from us or from anybody else, what you're buying is poundage of metal. That's how everybody buys their stuff. That's how it's going to be priced. Now, on the super cheap end, you're going to find roll form aluminum. What that looks like is the same stuff they make gutters out of. So it's a real thin sheet of aluminum that is bent into a shape, and that's it. And that's going to be your lowest cost for an overall project. Is it the strongest? Definitely not, because it's so thin. Now, as you move up, you're going to start to see thicker and thicker pieces of aluminum. And price, unfortunately, is not always a great indication for quality. The main question you want to ask is, am I paying for metal or am I paying for marketing? And the easiest way to figure that out is price per pound. So let's take a look. So our beam is going to be here on the left, and then the cheaper one is going to be on the right. Now, how much do you think is the price per pound for each of these? Ours is going to be close to $11. The other one is almost $20. So you tell me, which one's a better deal? The thicker aluminum is obviously going to last longer, it's going to be more durable, but it's going to cost more on the front end because you're buying a lot more weight. So for example, I just had a call with somebody yesterday. They bought a 10 by 12 pergola, not from us, and it weighed about 450 pounds. For our 10 by 12, that's going to be like 1,100 pounds. Pretty big difference. Number 2, assembly and support. Another important question to ask is, how does this product go together? There are 2 main ways you can buy these. You could either buy it as a full installed unit from a contractor, or you could do a DIY route. Now, there are pros and cons to both of these. On the DIY route, your upfront cost is going to be less, but you have to put it in yourself. On the full custom contractor route, it's going to cost more, but generally all you have to do is sign your name and you're done. Well, and pay for it. So when evaluating these 2 options, you have to decide for yourself. How easy is it to assemble? So if a contractor's doing it, that's the easiest. You're not touching anything. And how well does the company support customer issues when they come up? So let's start with the contractor dealer model. So there are some manufacturers and companies out there that only offer their products through a dealer network. They have to be installed by certified installers. Now for this, you're getting an expert all the way through. So they're going to design it for you, order the product in, and assemble it and put it on your house. That's the easiest option. The main problem there is you're buying from a middleman. And buying from a middleman, you're going to pay more. So typically, let's compare apples to apples. Ours is going to be a commercial grade, contractor grade product. Ours typically costs between a half and a third as much as a contractor install. So you're paying less for the material and you're not paying anything for labor, but then again, you have to put it up yourself. So we're kind of weird in this industry where we're offering commercial grade and selling it DIY. I don't really see anybody else doing that. So let's look at the other DIY options. Almost all of them, and I'm talking like 99%, are imported pergolas from overseas, and usually it's from the same manufacturer. So if you look real close at the pictures, it's basically the same product across a bunch of different websites. Now, coming from overseas, it's going to be cheaper for a wide variety of reasons. We're not going to go into all of them, I'm sure you can guess. The problem with that is, what if you're missing a part? What if something breaks? Do they have enough stock in their warehouses that's stateside to ship you a new replacement? More often than not, you have to wait for it to come over on a shipping vessel. That can take quite a while depending on the situation. Right now I'm hearing like 6 to 8 weeks for stuff to come in from overseas. Thankfully, all of our stuff's domestic, so I don't have to worry about that. So before you make a decision and you're trying to figure out how easy it goes together, what the customer support is, do some research. Research those companies, make sure you figure out where it's made, how much you're paying, all that stuff, what you're getting for your money, and make sure that you know exactly what the customer support is going to look like. If you're missing a part, if something breaks, if somebody drops something in the middle of the installation, what does that look like for you? Number 3, building codes and weather ratings. Now this one is a lot less sexy, but it's really important. So you need to know how much wind, snow, seismic this particular structure can handle. So if you're in California, seismic's going to be a bigger concern than snow, for example, in most of the state. Whereas if you're in the middle of Kansas, you're going to be worried about wind. You don't want to get carried away to the magical land of Oz. And if you're in the Northeast or on the northern edge of the US, snow load is going to be a big thing. If you want to know what your building codes likely are, you can check the link in the description. We built a tool where you can put in your zip code and get a pretty good idea of what you need to hit. Now, meeting building codes is crucially important if you have a building department that's particularly strict, an HOA, or you need any kind of permitting or anything like that. If you don't need any of that, the building codes and weather ratings can be helpful for peace of mind and insurance as well. Now, if you're getting a louvered product or a pergola that opens and closes, the main thing you're going to want to know is what is the wind and snow load rating with the louvers closed. You're going to see a lot of folks kind of try to fudge that number by saying, oh, well, if you open it, it'll handle up to 120 mile an hour winds. Now, up to is doing a lot of work there, as is with the louvers open. So make sure you know what the building codes are, and you don't want to get something that's a chore that you have to open it every time there's a storm coming in. Again, there's a really cool tool on our website, link in the description, where you can see what your building codes are for your particular area. And you can also download this really cool report, and it'll tell you exactly what to look for and questions to ask when shopping. Number 4, louvers and motor. Now, there are two options with these louvered pergolas. One is going to be a manual operation, which is a hand crank. The other is going to be a motorized option. Now, if you go with the motorized option, the main thing to consider is going to be sound. How does this sound after not just the first year, but 3, 4, 5 years down the line? The main things that are going to impact sound are going to be, one, what type of motor they use, how many motors you have, and what those end caps are made of. So if you have an aluminum end cap or a steel end cap, it's going to start grinding in that channel, usually after the first year, and when they're all grinding at once, it can sound like something's breaking. Here at the Luxury Pergola, we use what we call a WhisperTech system. It's going to be a self-lubricating composite end cap that's going to stay quiet the whole life of the unit. If you have aluminum end caps, they're going to start grinding after about a year or two. If you have an aluminum sliding door, you know what I'm talking about, especially those screen doors. When you move them around, they can start to sound pretty rough. So if you're okay with that, usually it's going to be cheaper to have that. That's fine, just make sure you know what you're getting into. And number 5, shipping times. How quick can you get the product that you ordered? Now, the shipping times may say, 5 to 15 day delivery. Okay, but how long to get to that delivery step after order? So make sure you know from time of order to when you're going to receive it, what that time frame actually looks like in a realistic scenario. I cannot tell you how many calls we get from people going, hey, I bought from so-and-so, I bought it in February, now they're telling me I won't get it till September. We've had 5 of those calls this week. So just something to think about. Make sure you know what the shipping time realistically looks like. Do they have products stateside? Is that coming to you? Where is it made? All that stuff is really important. If it's made overseas, anything can disrupt shipping lanes, so that can get kind of variable. Just keep that in mind. And with us being domestic, shipping times are not really a big deal for us since we make it ourselves to your spec and then ship it out to you. So we can give you a pretty good idea what week it's going to ship out on and what truck it's going to be on. Just something to keep in mind, make sure you know when you're going to actually receive it. If you're doing a larger project, that becomes even more important. Thanks for watching our quick breakdown on 5 things to consider before you buy an aluminum pergola. And if you're on the DIY end of the shopping experience and you want something that's going to last for a long time, go ahead and check us out. We're an American-made DIY motorized roof, and you can check us out at theluxurypergola.com or give us a call and one of our design consultants would be happy to help you out.